Bonjour les enfants, comment ça va? Ça va bien? I hope you're all doing really well. Now, last week we mentioned that this Friday is the 8th of May, which is also known as VE Day. And you might recall that I said in France on the 8th of May it's always a bank holiday. And actually that's the same for some European countries. And it's to commemorate the end of World War II. Now this year we've got our public holiday has been moved, so we can commemorate the VE Day as well, with the 75th anniversary being very special. So I know people are planning to have picnics at home in their gardens with traditional cream teas and lovely food and things like that to celebrate the occasion. So I was thinking, what might be happening in France? Usually the president would lay a wreath in the Arc de Triomphe, and mayors and dignitaries in all the in most towns and cities and villages in France would be doing the same memorials to commemorate the occasion. And families normally would get together and celebrate. So I was thinking, what could I do? What could I cook or make or bake that could be typically French at home here in St Albans? So I thought of something that I know my children really like anytime we go to France, or if there's a French market back home in England. And I wonder if you could guess what that is. Come with me, we're going to go into la cuisine, the kitchen, to find out what I'm going to make. So, did you guess it was crepes? And yes, it was des crêpes, some crepes. So, in England, my children love pancakes, but if there's a chance for a crepe, which is slightly different, they get so excited. So I'm going to try to make des crêpes, some crepes. So, for my crepe, I have got 1 cup of plain flour. So in French, that is de la farine. I've got a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and salt in French is du sel. I've also got a teaspoon of sugar, and sugar, does anybody know? Du sucre. So I've got my teaspoon of sugar, and then I need eggs. So eggs in French is des œufs. So that is some eggs. So for 1 egg, I would say un œuf. But actually I need 2 eggs for this recipe. So what would it be? It would be deux œufs, and we'd add our S because it's plural. Deux œufs. And finally, I need 1.5 cups of milk. So I've got du lait. So all I'm going to do is pop my flour. Can you remember the word for flour? De la farine. Into my bowl. I'm going to tip in my salt, du sel. I'm going to tip in my sugar, du sucre. I'm going to add in my 2 eggs, deux œufs. I'm going to give those a whisk, and then I'm very gradually going to add in my milk. Can you remember the word for milk, or some milk? It was du lait. So I'm going to whisk all of that together to form a really smooth batter. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave this to stand at room temperature for about 15 minutes. I know some people do leave batter to stand and some people don't, but actually I think I'm going to leave this to stand while I get all my toppings ready, and then we can go through some toppings. I wonder if you could be thinking about, if you were making crepes, what you might like to put on top of them, and do you know the word for them in French? Have a think. So I've got to be honest, we haven't always been able to get all the ingredients to make crepes. So we're quite excited to have flour and eggs today. Anyway, that's my batter. I'm going to leave that to stand for 15 minutes. Okay, it's very important you only do this with the help of your parent or carer. Do not do this on your own. Okay, so I'm going to warm some butter in my pan for my crepe. Anybody know the word for butter? Word for butter? Du beurre, some butter. I'm going to gently melt some butter into my pan. I wonder if the year sixes who might be watching can remember when we went to the French market, how it was so exciting to wait in the queue for the crêpes and some Toppings last Christmas. Wasn't it great? Well, whilst that is melting, I'm going to get une grande cuillère. I'm going to put some of my batter into my pan. I've got to remember these are crêpes, so they're thinner than the normal pancakes I might make. And let's start making a few crêpes. I'll heat up a little bit actually. Trying to get them as round as possible. Now, did you know that in France, on the 2nd of February, there is actually a festival for crêpes? Yep, that's right. It's called La Fête de la Lumière, which is Festival of Light, or also La Fête des Crêpes. Now, it's known to mark the occasion called La Chandeleur, which in England we would call Candlemas, to commemorate 40 days after Christmas. But actually, the Festival of the Crêpes can be seen to go further back than that, and is actually a way of commemorating winter coming to an end, days becoming a little bit longer, and the promise of better weather and more light. So actually, did you know that normally crêpes are round? I say normally because Madame Yates' crêpe is not really that round, but crêpes are round to represent the sun. So that's why the shape of the crêpe is round, to commemorate the sun and the beginning of longer days and better weather. So basically sunlight. Right, let's try and lift this up. Now, when on the festival that's on the 2nd of February, they do actually have lots of superstitions and traditions around that. And they would traditionally, whoops, not doing a great job, Madame Yates. They would toss the crêpe in the air, and with the other hand they might have a piece of gold. And there's all sorts of little traditions and fun things that they do for that. Another reason that they might commemorate is because they believed in early, way back, I think it goes back to the 5th century, the Pope used to come out and actually share food with poor people. So another reason for sharing of crêpes is that sharing of food and giving to friends. So, right, that's my first crêpe. Et voilà, des crêpes. So there you go, some crêpes. I think I'm going to have 2 very happy children. I hope so anyway. We've got a variety of toppings. Did you manage to think of any toppings you might like? And could you think of any words in French? Let's have a think. We already had the word for sugar. Can you remember? It was du sucre. So if you want some some sugar on your crêpe, you could have du sucre. You might want to have some strawberries. Des fraises. Des fraises. You might want to have a banana. Une banane. Chop that up and add it with your sugar and your strawberries. That'd be lovely. You might want to have some jam. De la confiture. We've got honey. Du miel. Nice local honey. We've got lemon. Du citron. I wonder what you might be able to find at home. Maybe you could design a crêpe on paper. Maybe you could have a think about the ingredients, if you can remember them, and list them in French. Maybe you could draw any toppings that you might like and either see what you can remember for toppings, or maybe look some up just for a bit of fun. So, if you do want to have a go at making des crêpes at home, make sure you do so with an adult. Don't try them on your own if you've got all the ingredients. And until next time, bon appétit, au revoir.